What's up YouTube? This is Sean. Welcome back to another deck profile, and today we're going to talk about one of the decks that I've played the most of all time, and this is my favorite deck in the Poke format. This is Spright, so this is my take on Spright, and I think this is probably the best way to play Spright right now if you want to play as pure. So let's look right onto it. So starting off with the main deck, we had 3 Spright Blue. Best card in the deck by far. No need to explain why. 3 Jet. The Spell Traps are of the deck. Pretty good card. You can cut this down to 2 if you need extra room, but I think 3 of this is completely fine. 1 Spright Red and 1 Spright Carrot. So I believe that just 1 and 1 is enough. Some people like to play more than 1 red or 1 carrot, but I think that having 1 red and 1 carrot is completely fine, especially you have recursion tools like Mannequin Cat in the extra deck to bring these back because they're fire, so they're really good against fire-based deck like Fire Kings and Rescue Ace. So that is the way that you could recuperate back those resources and to keep on playing further. Along with the Spright monsters, we have the 2 Spright Starter, the 1 Smasher, and the 1 Gamma Burst. I don't play Double Cross in this because this is a go second build. You blind second with this Spright engine, so most of the time you deal everything with Ward Breaker, and then the primary search target off the jet is the Gamma Burst to close out game, because this card can OTK really quick in the matchup. So complementary engine to go along with this, we play triple Nimble Beaver and 2 Nimble Angler. Straightforward, no need to say much. I think this engine is more than enough. This card's a 1 card combo. Dumping this card, you have to play 2 Angler because you're gonna summon 1 off of the Beaver and dump the other 1 off of Spright Sprint. So I think this is the best ratio for both. And then last but not least is 3 copies of Cashier of Fenrir. This card is just too good to not play in this deck. This card's really good going first and going second, so there's really not much else to say. This card can bait out 2 interactions by himself. So for the going second engine, I play 2 Thrust and 2 Talon. So the Thrust in here, because it is a searchable for all these board breakers that could be used to basically beat your opponent's board, because these board breakers are really high impact board breakers, so they trade really well with the opponent. So this, and along with the Thrust target, we play 2 Dark Hole, 2 Regeki, 2 Lightning Storm, and 1 Heart Feather Duster. So these are my these are the board breakers that I opt to go to. 2, we only need 2 of this because Thrust can search out them, and Lightning Storm and Happy Feather Duster because of Rescue Ace. And if you're main decking this card against Rescue Ace, it really helps a lot in breaking their entire board and their back row in general. All the Thrust targets includes 1 copy of Foolish Burial. This card's also a 1 card combo in Spright because you can Foolish Burial the Nimble Angler. So after you use all your board breakers, your opponent activates a monster effect. You can activate Thrust, search into the Foolish Burial, and then you can 1 card combo from there. 1 Herald the Abyss. For Pearly, 9 times out of 10 I would side this card out. It is not like the matchup where it has towers, so it's really annoying, but it's a mandatory one to have in this deck because of how popular Pearly is. So the Thrust can search into this card, so this is your out to the X-Pearly Nor. And 1 copy of Change of Heart. This is my either this or Econ, but this is searchable off of Thrust, so I decided to pick the Change of Heart here instead of Econ. And last but not least, 3 Super Poly. Really okay this format against specific decks. Especially, this can go against Rescue Ace, could go against anything. It forces your opponent to play around this card, which if they do, then they run into other board breakers, such as triple copies of Forbidden Droplet. So this card is really nice in terms of breaking boards in general. So earlier today, I played against Rescue Ace, and I used Droplet to basically dodge all their targeting spells, all their targeting traps, and basically win the game from there. So Droplet is a really nice card, along with Super Poly, to break one of the most popular decks in the format, which is Rescue Ace. Extra deck. 2 Gigantic, nothing more, nothing less. You need to basically outrun, and you need the first one for going first, and the second one to follow up on turn 3 to kill your opponent if you have to go first. But this card basically belongs in the 1-card combo in the Spright. You're gonna see it a lot of time. 1 Mannequin Cat going first. You're gonna make this card. This card is really good in this format. You can reborn your Spright monsters like Spright Red, Spright Carrot. You can also basically take back the Fenrir Engrave if they're playing an Earth deck. If they play the all these board breakers, then it just sucks. But against a format where there's a lot of hand trap, you can use their Ash against them. Using the Mannequin Cat, summon the Ash, special summon Spright Red or Spright Carrot. 1 Mosquito for OTK purposes. We don't run a lot of rank 2 Exceed because this is an OTK deck, so cards that help you OTK will basically be the most impactful out of the bunch. And then I have Downer, Zeus, and Typhon. So these are all the Exceed that you need to play in this deck alone. I made Typhon once today against Branded. I didn't make Zeus and Downer at all, but because like Gamma Burst, but sometimes you're gonna need to run into these cards, so these cards are always recommended in this deck. Yeah, and that is for the Exceed. 2 Super Poly target. These are really all you need. You can buy the Guilty Gear Freed, but I think that having these 2 should be enough to cover all your Super Poly matchups that you are gonna run into against. And then for links, 1 copy of Spright Sprint. Card's just too good. In Spright, 1 copy of IP Masquerena, 1 copy of SP Little Knight, 1 copy of Dark the Dark Charmer, 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix, and last but not least, 1 copy of Beat Cop. The reason why you play Beat Cop is to put the Beat Cop counter on, put the patrol counter on the Ibli, so it does not get destroyed by battle. Therefore, you can use the Ibli later to basically kill your opponent. So your opponent cannot basically crash the Ibli and get rid of it. So the only way that they can get out of it is by normal summoning anything, Link Rebo, but by then you will out their board. So this is my choice against that. And side deck, side decks are flexible based on the events that you play, but in general, I play high impact hand traps. 3 Ash, FTK against certain decks, Labyrinth, Branded. If they don't have the out for this card, it's just an FTK against those decks. 3 Shifter. This deck doesn't really care about running into playing under Shifter because it's an OTK deck. So you just make Gigantic Spright, bring out Blue Jet, grab the Gamma Burst, and that should be enough damage on board for lethal. You play it correctly. 3 Nibiru, for the specific reason that Nibiru bowls out your opponent's entire board, and it's just a good card against all the combo decks out there that does not respect this card. So it puts a lot of pressure on them, and these are basically all the hand traps that I play on the side. I didn't see Shifter today, but I believe that the matchup that I would have played and I see Shifter, I would have won. So it's just unfortunate that it does not come up. Last is the Spice. 3 copy of Shared Right. Original this was Draw, but I realized that since I play a lot of board breakers in this deck, I want to use Shared Right to basically draw into those hand trap or board breakers. So let's say if my opponent cracks my board and they cannot OTK me, Shared Right would be able to get me into the card so I can keep comboing during the on the crackback and to break my opponent's board. Also, this card's a max C, so your opponent has to respect the fact that I had to draw a bunch of cards. And if I have Shifter, and this card doesn't clash with Shifter like Draw does, so basically in a matchup where you know your opponent is searching a lot like Kashtira, and they play Shifter, Shared Right is just a freeze, just so free against that deck. And there's it's just really nice going first with this card alone. And then last but not least, 1 Ibli in the side, 1 red resonator for the bird. And last is I opt for 1 copy of the Ruma Cannon on the side deck. So going first, this card is also a thrust target. And sometimes like I sided out all these going first cards, all these going second cards for this card. So like let's say if Herald the Abyss is terrible in a certain matchup, then I could just side it out and put this in going first because this card is just too good going first. And then it basically like breaks an entire Unchained board by itself. This card is just that crazy. And so on and so forth. Ibli, you guys know how to do the Ibli lock going first. If the opponent doesn't play Link deck like Branded, Labyrinth, or all these special summoning decks that does not use a Link summon, that does not commit a normal summon, this card just kills them right there. So Ibli, and then the Ibli at Beat Cop interaction. So when you make your Spright combo, you go into Beat Cop, and then using the Ibli and the Gigantic, and then Ibli effect will trigger, put the Ibli on their field, and then effect a Beat Cop, target face up card on the field, place a patrol counter on it, and then if a card will be destroyed by the effect of, if a card will be destroyed by battle or card effect, remove a patrol counter instead. So even if this card leaves the field, then basically the Ibli cannot swing over and crash the card, so they're still under Ibli block. So that is it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next profile. Peace.